How's it going? It's Rocky. Welcome to week number 21 of our $2,000 weekly challenge. Before we get started, I just want to say we reached a milestone in the channel and we reached over 200 subscribers. So we are at 201 and it is a milestone that I'm very happy about, and I want to thank those that has been following me and watching the content and subscribing, and hopefully we can grow the channel the same way that we are growing our trading account. So every Friday we release content on our experience trading the e-mini features and the micro e-mini features, doing a transparency on how we're doing based on our cash balance, and also showing some of our trades. If you've noticed, I didn't release anything on week 20 because I've been taking a step back since that horrible week on week 19. So check out that content if you're curious what happened on week 19. The link is above. So basically for week number 20 and current week, week 21, all I've been doing is really going back to my basics, which is focusing on my entries and my exit, and actually started trading back to trading micro features just to really remind myself that my strategy works and I don't need to be adding new things to it, or essentially trying new strategies to improve it. I'm not saying that my strategy is the best. What I'm just saying is the strategy I use is what I'm comfortable with. It's what works with my personality, with my psychology, and with my emotions. So it's something that I've been using for a while. It's what I'm comfortable with, and I really should stick with it. And I shouldn't sway away too far from it, because trying a lot of new strategies could really hurt your ego, your confidence, and it makes you do a lot of drastic things. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot of just observing and going back to the basics of what I believe in. And I'm going to go through some of the trades that I did where I really focus on the tick count as opposed to the dollar value, since I was trading the micro features. But before that, let's go through. So for our account statement, if we go through the description here, you'll notice that I'm trading MYM, which is the micro e-mini for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So that's mostly all I was trading. Maximum of 4 contracts is the most I could do, and I was limited by the cash balance that I have on my account. And then if you also notice, I did withdraw money this week. So here we withdrew $1,000, and then we withdrew another $1,000 right here. So we will be adding that to our ending cash when I show you exactly how we did for the day, for the week. And also I have some mark-to-markets right here. And the mark-to-markets are on the e-mini itself. So as you can tell, if you check out my video on week number 19, that's the one that cost me a lot of trouble because I traded 2 e-mini contracts. I got rid of one of it, but I kept one of it, and you're probably asking, why are you doing that? Well, it's not really hurting me by holding it. I have until June 15th before the e-mini rolls over to the next quarter. So I'm taking this opportunity to really just go back to the micros and work on my basics, my entry, my exit, how long I'm gonna trade, and then I'll eventually go back to trading so for this week, our ending cash is $14,946.51. But we did withdraw the $2,000 as I mentioned, so we were gonna add that to the ending cash. And the cash that we started with was $14,960.23, which gave us our total this week of $1,986.28. And just to compare it, something I like to do to bring it more relatable is, if I were to compare it to a regular 9 to 5 40-hour week in the US, that would be equivalent to about $49.65, and that's a gross amount. I would have to, of course, separate taxes, which I pay quarterly taxes on this because I am treating it as a sole proprietorship, self-employed business itself. As a breakdown for the week, it was essentially we had out of the 6 days, we had mostly green days. We did have a red day on Tuesday, which is negative $492.43. But our best day occurred on Monday, which we did hit the 1K, which is what we like to do, which is $1,032.64. And for week 21, our total is $1,986.28. Now I'd like to review some of the trades that I did for the week, just to show you that I was mostly focusing really on the tick count and sticking to my strategy and not doing too many crazy things with it. This is as you can tell here, I do have the time range from Sunday, May 23rd, 2021 to Saturday, now that I'm recording it, May 29th, 2021. This is one of our trades here. And basically, as you can tell, basically I look at the candles first. That's really what we look at. So this is your 5-minute candlestick candles. And we entered here at the 1020 candle. And the reason for that is on the MACD, it was starting to diverge after a crossover. It was starting to diverge here. And you can see that it's starting to diverge because of the histogram. It is getting larger. Diverge means, your lines are separating. And if I look at the stochastic RSI, we are on the overbought area. So I like to do this with the overbought area because at this time, you have a lot of buyers, and that's what I like to line up with. And if we look to the right on our tick-based chart, for that corresponding candle that we started with, so on the right are 512 ticks. I'm using Heikin-Ashi candles, and the crossover just occurred, and that's when I entered. It's concurrent with the 5-minute candlesticks, and on the stochastic RSI I was also heading to overbought side. So that's why I entered it 4 contracts at 34,368.50. And basically with my strategy, what I'll do is I do an alert with 10 ticks above it and another alert at 20 ticks above it. And when I hit those, that's usually when I place an OCO, so I lock in the profit itself. And thankfully it worked out fine. We did exit at 34,396 4 contracts, so that's about a nice 10:20 to about 10:30, about 10-minute trade. And just to show you that I'm focusing on the tick count, let's just show what that is. So we exited at 34, just to say 396 to make the math easier, and then we entered at 368.50. So that's about 27.5 ticks. So with my normal trading, if I was, what I like to do was the E-mini 2 contracts, that would have been, times 10. So it would have been $275. So the dollar amount is not what we're focusing on right now. I'm really just focusing on the tick count and, going back to my basics with my strategy. So that's why I was doing this with the micros. So here is our second trade that I wanted to show where, I'm going back to the basics and just focusing on the strategy itself. Traded around 10:20 on the 10:20 candle PM. And this is during the Globex. And essentially, it's during the Asian market, about 2 hours before the European market opens. And you're probably asking why I'm trading the Globex. It's where I learned to trade futures because it's a lot slower. And I'm also thinking of going back to a real 9 to 5 just to supplement my income a little bit. And it's very important for me to, be able to trade in the evenings during Globex and to add to my income itself. So basically we entered with 4 contracts at 34,420. And then if you look at the MACD, it's starting to diverge. You can tell from the histogram, it's starting to increase there. And on the stochastic RSI, we are also on the overbought side. And if you look on the corresponding tick chart, crossover occurred a lot, way before that. But I wanted to wait for a true divergence to it. And I wanted that confirmation from the other, from the candlesticks itself. So it wasn't until then that I entered. I could have entered a lot earlier, but I wanted to wait again because that's what I look for. I want both my candlesticks and my tick charts to be, my time base and my tick base charts to be showing me the same thing. So Something I like to do is basically putting an alert at 10 ticks above and 20 ticks above. And once it hits that alert, that's usually when I put an OCO. So one cancels the other, where have a limit on the top and a trailing stop on the bottom. And that's how you'll notice why I was stopped out for 2 of the contracts at 438. However, what's great is I did a different trailing stop. One was about 7 ticks trailing stop, and the other one was 15 ticks trailing stop. And the other one sold at essentially 34,468. So I'm just gonna bring the calculator here, and we can do the math. So 438 minus 420 for the first 2, and it's about 18 ticks, which is pretty good. And then the next one was 468. So 468 minus the entry of 420, and that was 48 ticks, which is pretty good. And if you do the math, you scale up again. I normally trade 2 e-minis, so 48 points or 48 ticks would give me about $480. All right, so here's the third and final trade that I'm going to show you, just to that confirms the strategy that I'm using. I entered at the 855 candlestick, 4 contracts at 34,325. Same thing, MACD starting to diverge, stochastic RSI, we're on the overbought side, and then looking at the corresponding tick base to the right, same thing at that candle, on the Heikin-Ashi candle there, it was starting to diverge here, and we were also on the overbought side. And same strategy, I have an alert 10 ticks above and 20 ticks above, and once I hit that, I place an OCO. One was an OCO with a trailing stop of 7 ticks, and the other one was the OCO with a trailing stop of 15 ticks. And that's why we have 2 different exits here. We had one at 334 and 377. Let's do the math there. First entry is 334. We entered at 325, and that's about 9 ticks. Just 9 ticks on there, which is not bad. If I was doing the e-minis, that would have been $90. And the other one was 377, and again we entered at 325, and that was 52. So if I was trading the 2 e-minis, that would have been $520. So this really, I did it to just boost my confidence up a bit again, and just to remind myself that I don't need to try new things. I need to stick with the strategy that has been working for me, and I just don't need to chase it. I just need to let it come to me and let it work. So yeah, that's how we did for week 21. We close out the month of May. Unfortunately for the month of May, because of that big loss on week 19, it's actually our first negative month for 2021. It was about, roughly negative 1.7 thousand. But, overall year to date, we're still positive, just putting everything in focus and ready for the month of June to hopefully improve on this and do a lot better, because, we're trying to withdraw $2,000 every week. And if you think about it, that's almost 10% that I'm withdrawing from that little account that I have every week. Anyway, if you enjoyed what you saw today, please do like the content or subscribe if that's something you'd want to follow every week. But if you didn't learn anything, but hopefully you'll learn something next time. All right, have a good one.